What is up, everybody? Greg2G here, and today we're talking about Pirrosa's Fire Tornado build. It is a whole lot of fun, and yeah, I'm just having a blast with it, especially if you're doing your shuttle gate runs. Oh man, this is like the best build for clearing out those shuttle gate runs as quickly as possible. Before we get started though, make sure you like and subscribe. I appreciate it very much. It helps so much, and every extra subscriber we get is huge. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's talk about this build. I guess we'll start with the gear. Yeah, let's start with the gear. We'll start with the gear this time around, and what we want are the Simplicity set pieces. We need the Simplicity hat, the Simplicity ring, the Simplicity gloves, and the Simplicity weapon, of course. For our legendaries, what we want are the lorecloth gown and the bloodcast booties. Okay, so we'll start talking about what the set actually does. So this set, well, basically turns you into a tornado, basically. You're like, you've probably seen the gameplay. I'll put some gameplay on the screen while we're going through this set and how it's all made up. So what this set does is basically turns you into a tornado, really fast moving tornado. You got a huge damage range, you do a whole lot of AoE damage, and it's just, I mean, just look at the gameplay in the background. It's it's pretty crazy, and it does a ton of damage. So the majority of the time you're going to be using the tornado, but the tornado doesn't actually do as much damage as your Flame Shadow Fire Ring. So for like, if you get some yellow guys or blue guys that are taking a while to go down, then you need to swap over to Flame Shadow Fire Ring to do a little bit extra damage to those guys. Or, you know, what I usually do most of the time is just swap to Bison to kill them. But, yeah. So Flame Tornado is really good at taking out the blues and grays. Sometimes you get a few blues that are a little bit of a pain to take out, but it can struggle a lot taking down the yellows. Okay, and the legendaries. So the Lorecloth Gown. What this does is it makes it so your Flame Shadow Fire Ring and Tornado does a lot more damage after you use your Sprouting skill. And also it disperses one debuff from you. So this is like something you basically use right at the beginning of the level. You don't really need to use it ever again after that point, and it gives you some healing. And what this actually does is offsets the damage that you're taking from your, I actually didn't even mention that. I forgot to mention the Burning and Revival. So the Burning and Revival ability increases your extra damage by 36.5%. And obviously this is going to be doing damage to you the whole time. So what you definitely need the Lorecloth Gown, so you can use your Sprouting to get a 10% HP per second to offset the damage from Burning and Revival. And then the last legendary we need are the Bloodcast booties. And this makes the Fire Ring deal damage much quicker. And yeah, so this is why your Fire Ring is basically your burst damage. So once you get stuff that gets right up close to you, you switch over to Fire Ring. This also makes you move very slowly. So you're moving very slowly, but you're doing a lot of damage very quickly. At the same time, you're also getting a 10% dodge rate up buff, and then basically after that, it's just all about damage. I don't really use it that much. Like, I really do recommend you have a different character for your burst damage. So, like, as soon as your tornado's not really taking down stuff quick enough, I would recommend just switching to your other character to burst down everything else. Because, yeah, the Flame Shadow Fire Ring makes you move very slowly, makes you very vulnerable. Pirrosa is very squishy, and yeah, this, even with this dodge rate buff, it doesn't really help. She can get smacked down pretty hard, pretty quickly sometimes. So I usually just stick with Tornado and switch to other characters for more close combat and more burst damage. But yeah, this is a really fun build. Though, yeah, like I said, one thing that's really lacking is the survivability. I'm trying to figure out some way to get some lifesteal into this, because a lot of people are using Pirrosa with Isadora for the lifesteal, but I'm using Pirrosa with Bison. So I haven't really figured out a really good way to get her a little bit more survivability just yet. Probably need to get her better stones is probably going to be the answer for that. Another thing a lot of people really struggle with this build is mana or energy. This is a very, very energy hungry build. Some people had to actually equip some energy gems to do it. I actually got lucky that on some of my items here, I got quite a few energy regeneration. So for example here, let's see, what do I have energy regeneration on? Oh yeah, for every crit I get a 8.8 energy per second buff, and also crit gets me more hit rate and more fire damage. This was a really, really good roll on these gloves other than the normal attack. And then also for these boots, I get extra hit rate on that one, and dodging enemy attacks gives me extra energy, and killing an enemy recovers some energy. So if you don't have any of these rolls that give you extra energy, you might be struggling quite a bit for energy. So I do definitely recommend maybe taking a different pet for energy regeneration, or actually using some energy gems if you must. Let's move on to skills now. So the skills we're using are basically all multicolored here. So we have one yellow skill, the Flame Shadow Fire Ring. This is the one that makes you move very slowly. This is your burst damage. You probably won't be using it too much. You want to press it once at the very start to get your dodge rate buff and that sort of thing, but other than that, you probably won't be using it all that much. And of course, you're going to be using Flame Tornado pretty much 99% of the time, running around as basically just flying around as an actual tornado and just destroying everything in your path. Yeah, this is such a sick build, guys. It's so fun. Yeah, so that's pretty straightforward. Just hold down that button and run around. Sprouting, this is the one that gives us our HP regen buff to offset the damage we take from burning and revival. And then also Sprouting also has that extra effect of purging a debuff. So if you ever notice you're getting poisoned or something like that, you could use your Sprouting to get rid of that stuff. And then, yeah, Burning and Revival. So, okay, this is actually pretty huge, this ability. I thought for a second maybe we could go without Burning and Revival, but this almost doubles your damage. So when you have the effect where it's damaging you and increases your extra damage, yeah, it's a huge boost to damage. So yeah, I thought maybe, maybe I could go without Burning and Revival. I tried it out with just Flame Tornado. I was just messing around with some of the other abilities here, messing around with Flame Vine, but yeah, the damage on your Flame Tornado goes down a ton without Burning and Revival. For stats, you kind of want to focus on extra damage, of course, and then you can throw in some skill attack or not normal attack, but I always want to say normal attack for this one, because it's base attack. We'll call it base attack, or maybe a little bit of base attack. But yeah, mostly extra damage. The extra damage on this character actually scales really good compared to Bison, where actually most of his extra damage abilities scaled better with skill attack. Pirrosas actually do scale better with extra damage. So let's look at the talents real quick. And I haven't really decided on what I like for my talents. I have tried a few different builds. This is what I'm using right now. So I'm not 100% on this quite yet. Yeah, you definitely want to get as much extra damage as possible. Get your Blaze Aura, get your Precise Hunting. I went and picked up a little bit of skill attack, but I'm not sure if that was even necessary. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure where I want to go with this quite yet, but this is what I got for now. It works pretty good, and I haven't really messed with it since. But yeah, if you want to look at my talents, you can make a screenshot of this real quick so you can have it later when you're building up your Pirrosa. I think I actually do have a couple other talent sets here that I was testing. So yeah, I messed around with this one for a bit, and I didn't really like this one compared to the other one. And then I have I think this one right here as well, where I went more skill attack heavy. But no, you definitely want to go with more extra damage, like the first one that I had there. There wasn't really a huge difference between them, actually. Like, I tested them all, like doing the normal test where you kill the dummy as quickly as possible, and it was like maybe like 3 seconds difference at the most. So yeah, not a huge difference, but this is what I got for now. So the important nodes here, fiery explosion, this is pretty nice. Little extra damage on that, 7.4% with a 1 second cooldown. Burning flame, when hitting an enemy with an active skill, it casts burning flame and will move following the caster. So basically the same thing as lightning realm, but for Pirrosa. So a little bit of extra damage aura that follows you around. Blaze aura, of course, for that 15% damage amplification. Flame Spirit, of course, for that 26% damage amplification. And keep note that this is only available when you have your Burning and Revival self-damage increase active. So I think that's the main reason why you get so much more damage with the Burning and Revival. And I've actually thought about maybe trying out a build with Leopard Spirit. Even though it says normal attack, some people are telling me that this Leopard Spirit talent actually works with skill, like when skill activates. So I might go over towards that, and then maybe this is like just me theory crafting, because I'm not really 100% sure if I've gotten this build quite where it could be yet, but I'm thinking maybe there's a way we can take out Burning and Survival, or Burning and Revival, and use a different ability if we use Leopard Spirit instead, and we get the damage amplification from that. We may not even need Burning and Revival. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see what happens. And then Tornado Flame, the big one here, which makes tornadoes just pop up all over the place. 0.5 second cooldown. Lots of extra damage on that too. Now, I know you guys were complaining about me not recommending gems in some of my other build guides, because I felt like, you know, the gems in general are kind of straightforward. At least that's what I always thought they would be. But anyway, these gems, my gem setup isn't even perfect. The thing is, like, yeah, that's part of the reason I never put that in any of these videos, is because I'm not like a whale or anything. I don't have perfect gems. So I don't really recommend using what I'm using right now, because this is not ideal. I don't really have very many extra damage gems because I never really made an extra damage character before. So I was focusing mostly on skill attack builds and normal attack builds. So I don't even, like, I would recommend using extra damage gems in here. Of course, if you have some good ones, I don't really have any, but so I'm just using attack and skill attack and crit and magic pierce for the most part. Though I'm thinking about removing the magic piercing, because I was doing some testing on magic piercing recently, and it doesn't seem like it's actually that useful, to be honest. So I might be removing the magic piercing. But yeah, crit and extra damage will be your #1 sources, and then maybe throw in some skill attack if you want as well. And then, you know, a few extra with your extra slots. You can see here I have damage to humans. Humans are the most common enemies in the game, the most common bosses in the game. So you want some extra damage against humans. And then also demons are pretty common, and orcs are pretty common as well. So yeah, there's a look at my gems. Far from perfect. I would not copy this at all, but since people complain about me not talking about gems, here we are talking about the gems. One more thing I want to add real quick is how you actually use this build. It took me a little while to figure this out. So at the start, you use skill 1, skill 3, and skill 4, as you just saw right there. And that's basically all you have to do to get it going. And then just mostly hold down tornado for the most part. Sometimes you'll want to use skill 1 for a little bit of extra damage, but yeah, kind of took me a while to figure that out. I was just mashing the buttons when I first started this build, and yeah, that's basically all you got to do. But I think that pretty much wraps it up for this build today. Another thing I would recommend as far as like pet goes, I would recommend using the old Dryad, because as I said, Pirrosa is pretty squishy, and this shield is a huge lifesaver, huge lifesaver for Pirrosa, and or any other defensive based pet, maybe even like a dodge pet, since she gets the dodge buff from using the fire ring. Maybe some extra dodge would help. But yeah, old Dryad. I go with the old Dryad. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. This build is amazing and so much fun to play. I highly recommend it. If you guys have any recommendations for how I could or how we could improve on the build, please leave a comment in the comments. Let me know like any like lifesteal. I want to be able to use Pirrosa without Isidora and have some lifesteal on her somehow. So any tips on how we can get some lifesteal on her would be great. Other than that, yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, to follow me on twitch.tv/greg2g, follow me on twitter.com/greg2g, and thank you very much. I appreciate you. We'll see you guys next time in the next video. Peace and GG's.